Amanda Davis. I'm here with Mentoring Minds, and today we're in our Think Up studios, and I'm joined with Connie Moore. She is our editing manager for ELAR team, and she's here to talk to us today about the 9 critical thinking traits and how those are infused within good ELAR instruction.
Yes.
So I guess my first question is, what is good ELAR instruction? What does that look like?
Amanda, thank you for having me today. ELAR is, first of all, my passion and the passion of the 5 other members of our team. And our focus is to bring the research base, our own wisdom from being teachers in the classroom, our experience there together, and to provide a great foundational support for educators. So when we think about English language arts, typically educators think of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And oftentimes those are thought of as 4 distinct domains. Instead, true, strong, and very effective instruction for ELAR is the integration of all of those domains. So as students are reading, they're thinking about, how did the author compose this text? As a student is writing, he or she is thinking, what have I read from which I can draw inspiration? Same thing in speaking and listening. As you speak, you're thinking, how can I draw in my listener? Or as I'm listening, what do I really need to think about from that speaker? So really the foundation of ELAR is the integration of those 4 domains.
Okay, so you're saying integration, and that seems to be a word I've been hearing a lot when we're talking
Yes.
about the new ELAR TEKs
Yes.
that are coming out for the state of Texas.
Yes.
And I just want to hear, what are your thoughts on that?
Thank you. The new TEKs are very exciting because the authors of the TEKs stepped back and they studied that integration of the 4 domains that I just mentioned, and they knew that they needed to build a strong base for that within the TEKs. And so they used a whole different philosophy or perspective, even pedagogy, of integrating those domains with the addition of thinking. So the new TEKs are divided into 7 strands. The 7 strands have knowledge and skill statements, and every knowledge and skill statement includes reading, writing, speaking, listening, and thinking. If the TEKs pull it together perfectly for teachers. And so we're looking at oral language, we're looking at responding, we're looking at comprehension, composing, and inquiry and research, with the reading, writing, speaking, listening, and thinking integrated together.
Okay, so definitely you said thinking is throughout the whole thing.
Yes.
So I know at Mentoring Minds we are big on critical thinking.
Yes.
So we have the 9 critical thinking traits, and how do you see thinking incorporated in good instruction? And let's even be more specific. Let's just even say like communicate. That's one of the 9 critical thinking traits.
Yes.
So how do you see communicate being intertwined within good instruction and being aligned with the TEKs?
Communicate is one of the 9 traits. It is perfect for ELAR because English language arts and reading is all about communicating, interacting, giving, and taking. When you're writing, you're thinking about, how am I going to use my words wisely and carefully, apply author's craft and purpose so that I'm communicating my message to my reader or to my audience if my text is going to be read. As a reader, you're thinking, how is the author communicating to me? What do I need to think about in the text, the way the text is structured, the way the words are organized on the page, the way the lines of a poem are broken so that the poet can truly express the meaning. So it's all about communication. Then, of course, speaking and listening.
Yeah.
That is the very, very important to communication, that as speakers, we are speaking both clearly, using appropriate gestures, using facial expressions, volume, rate. But then as a listener, we are communicating when we are really focused on that speaker and gathering everything we can from the words that we're hearing. And thinking is all about communicating, because we are metacognitive in our approach, that we are really, how am I getting to this thinking point, and from where how will I move to the next point? So that's being metacognitive, aware of your thinking. All involved in communication. It's perfect for us.
Well, thank you. I was definitely involved in your communication skills right now. So how about we just so we have the 9 critical thinking traits. I just hit on one. How about maybe 2 more?
Sure.
How about reflect and maybe link? Those maybe are some traits. Communication might be one that everybody kind of knows about, but how would you do reflect and link in an ELAR classroom?
Reflect is very important, especially in the new TEKS, because students are expected to not only think about their reading and their writing, speaking and listening, but to respond to that learning. So what have I learned? I'm going to reflect on that and really think deeply about that. But how can I apply that thinking to the next step in my learning? Because learning is continuous and ongoing, and we want students to really understand that thinking is not just about memorizing a fact or composing one really awesome sentence, but moving that learning forward. And when kids reflect on what they've learned and how they learned it, then they can apply that learning in new situations when they're called on to read a challenging text, or they're called to listen to a speaker who is really presenting some difficult information. So reflecting is very important. Linking is essential, because the domains work together. They work jointly, they blend beautifully, and it's going to be a change of thinking for many ELAR instructors or educators, because we've tended to teach reading and teach writing and speaking and listening, but we're going to be teaching those in concert. And the students are going to be so much stronger because they will see the link. When I'm reading, I'm developing skills to be a stronger writer. When I'm listening, I'm developing skills to be a stronger speaker. But then looking at listening across to reading. When I'm hearing a text read aloud and I'm reading as the person is reading to me, I'm listening to their pronunciation, their enunciation, but I'm listening to their voice inflection and the expression, and I'm being pulled into that text.
Yes.
It's all about linking.
Yes.
So the 9 critical thinking traits are just the foundation for really effective and productive instruction for the English language arts, including reading.
Well, thank you. As I'm listening to you, I just see your passion, and I'm just reflecting back to my, English language arts experience in my classroom, and I am just so jealous. I wish I had you as a teacher, because as you're saying all these things, I'm seeing this deeper level that you're talking about, and asking kids, and all those things that you just talked about, I see them going beyond the ELAR classroom. Like, if you have those skills, you could go for,
That's right. They are life skills.
Yes.
Because in everything that our students are going to be called on to do, whether in their continuing grades, higher ed, or even in their careers, communication is the key. Being really skilled readers and writers and listeners and speakers. And when we can prepare our students with those skills, they are so confident and excited about what's ahead of them for the future. So that's our goal, to get them
that's
ready
awesome.
for really bright futures.
Yes. Well, thank you, Connie,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for joining us. Hopefully you were just as touched as I was, and you are seeing the importance of these 9 critical thinking traits and how, in this case, they are related to ELAR. So thank you, and hope you join us for another episode.